Hi, Chapel Hill. I hope you're having a good week. I am. I'm doing a lot of processing this week, and that seems to be one of my favorite things to do is process things. It's just the way I'm wired, I suppose. What I'm thinking about this week is where we're at right now, what we've been looking at together as a church. We've been doing a series that I'm calling Worldview, and we've been looking at how we view the world around us and inviting God's perspective on that. And I see this great difference between learning more about what's happening in the world from the news, from other sources, and learning what God is doing in the world. And there's a difference there. If we learn to see and seek what God is doing in the world, not just receive news about what's happening in the world, it's going to change the way we see the world. And so we've had the privilege recently of having Ben Pierce from Steiger International come in and challenge the way we see the global youth culture. He lets us see a picture of what God is doing among the global youth culture versus what we hear in the news about the global youth culture. And then Julio was here last week talking to us about what God is doing in Haiti. Very different story than we're getting from the news about what's happening in Haiti. So that is our prayer focus for this week. I invite you to join me in praying that God opens our eyes to what He is doing. What is God doing in our church? Not what does the news say about the Western church? What is God doing in our neighborhoods? What is God doing in our city? Not just what's on the news about what's happening in our city. What is God doing in our country? What is God doing in our world? That's the whole focus of this series, this time for us as a church. And we all know that we're going to have to be intentional about this. It doesn't just come to us like the news does. And so Jesus told us, seek first God's kingdom. Seek what God is doing in the world. Let's pray for that together. Let's do that together. Let's seek what God is doing. I invite you to join us again on Sunday morning here in person or online as I unpack a little more about what I started 3 weeks ago on this subject of worldview. We'll look at seeing the world and loving the world and impacting the world in each of those contexts that I just talked about. In our church, in our neighborhood, in our city, our state, our country, and around the world. And so I invite you to join us for that. And I'll see you this weekend.